Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to yet another session of Ask Me Anything. So these sessions happen every Tuesday at 9 p.m. IST Indian Standard Time. Okay, I normally start with a topic. I speak for about a few minutes about the topic, and then it is open to questions, so people can ask questions, and then I try to answer those. So this is how normally the sessions happen. Okay, so today we have got another topic. So let's slowly start into that. Okay, so as I said, the Ask Me Anything weekly sessions every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Okay, so classification of fats and oils. Fats are basically, we call that sneha. So the moment that which can lubricate the body. So they have been classified into different, sections. So that's what we are going to talk in general today. So classification of fats and oils. Now this is according to Ashtanga Hridaya. Now let's see. Fats, it's called sneha in Sanskrit. Okay. Sneha is snig, the meaning that which can stick. So sneha, when you say love, sneha, it's because your emotions stick to each other. That's why it's called snig. So there are basically 4 snehas mentioned in according to Ashtanga Hridaya, according in Ayurveda. And the main things are, Grita is ghee, Taila is oil, Vasa is animal fat, and Majja is marrow. These are the major 4 classifications into which all the snehas have been put in, So, Grita, you can have cow's ghee, buffalo's ghee, camel's ghee. A lot of ghees are there. Likewise, oil, you can have sesame oil, mustard oil, castor oil, lot of things. So normally they are classified under these 4 headings. So let's look into these 4 things. Okay, how they are applied. So the root meaning. Okay, when you look at tailam, tilat tailam, that's the word meaning. Tailam actually refers to sesame oil. That which comes from tila or sesame is called tailam, tilat tailam. Okay, so and many other lot of oils have been mentioned in Ayurveda, and properties of each and every oil is swa yoniva. That means from whichever origin it comes from. So if sesame oil is coming from sesame, then that oil will have the quality of sesame. Mustard oil will have the quality of mustard. Coconut oil will have the qualities of coconut. So whichever yoni from which it comes, from where it originates, it will have the properties of that dravya. That's what we mean by that. Okay. Now, sneha in treatment. So generally what? Grita is mostly taken internally. Okay. It can also be applied externally. Normal ghee can be applied externally. 100 times washed ghee. Shatadhauta Kritam is also there, which can be applied externally. Okay. The tailam is oil. Mostly for external applications, also intake. And Vasa and Majja, both. Okay. Mostly for external application, also for intake, but mostly for external application. Okay. Yes, we do give internally, but if you look at it, mostly it is given for external application. Conditions that we'll get to that later. Okay. As we go through that. So now how will you now the uses of ghee? Ghee can be given to children, elderly people. Okay, it can be given for conception. Lot of applications is got for conception, for lean people, for people who want to have good voice. Okay, for people who have gone through surgery and who are tired after surgery, and for mental issues, for fever. Vaisthapana is to maintain youth. That's what most people take ghee for. So your agni is basically taken care of. Okay, and Vrana Shodhana, wound healing, and it is not only external, even internally. When you have got ulcers, the best treatment for ulcer is ghee. We give good amount of ghee into the system, and we create an environment where the wound starts healing itself. Okay, now when you look at taila, oil applications, where granthi, especially when you have growths. Okay, ghee is given, oil is given. Nadi varna is when you have, see, even fistula like thing. You have got a wound and you feel that there is pus inside. That's where, we use medicated oil. But if the wound is external, we can use. She said wound healing, right? We use mostly ghee. That's the reason why we have got two preparations: jatyadi ghritam and jatyadi tailam. So when you have got external wounds, it can be deep wounds also. You can use ghritam. But if you have got a channel which goes inside, oil is preferred. Krimi for worms, for worms, if you internally or externally, if you give oil, worms can be taken care of. And then it manages kapha. It measures in the sense it helps you lose weight. It manages vata also, and thyla is supposed to be the best for all vata disorders. Leguta, it results, if you are somebody who wants to lose weight or feel light, oil is the best choice. Okay, then krura koshtha, there's a gap over there. Okay, krura koshtha, if you have got dry gut, then oil is the one that has to be used. I don't know, once the PPT gets over here, it goes here and there. I'm sorry, I don't know how to set that thing right. Okay, now after that, what? Vasa and Majja. Vasa and Majja are usually classified together. Okay, so dhatu kshaya, when you have got when you have extremely emaciated due to overexposure on the sun, or if you're somebody who does a lot of exercise or overexertion, carrying a lot of weight, like labor people who carry a lot of weight, your dhatu undergoes a lot of kshaya. In those conditions, Vasa and Majja can be used. Vasa and Majja also is given when you have got extreme Agni. That means you can digest, your Agni is very high. So you need not go for ghee, you can go for animal fat. Normally, goat fat or pig fat is also given. And then, extreme excessive dryness, because this has got a lot of, it's very thick. So when you've got excessive dryness internally and externally, you can use Vasa and Majja. And even in conditions where you feel, you don't have too much of interest, depression, Vasa Majja can be used. And out of Vasa especially can be used in joint pains, okay, bone pains and burns and cuts. Okay, Vasa is animal fat, especially in burns. When you look, the base for most of the effective burn creams is animal fat, and that too chicken. Chicken is eaten, the fat is taken, and they add medicines into it and it is being used for burns. Okay, so these are Vasa and Majja uses. You can start. I see people have already started asking questions. I'll try to answer them one by one. Okay. Janini, namaste. I came across, one second. Kerala woman of applying oil on top of the head and just taking hair bath without washing it off with shampoo or anything. How is this beneficial? See, normally, not only Kerala women, if you look at my head also, you can see oil on my head. Okay, I apply oil on a regular basis and I very rarely shampoo it off. Might be once in 10 days or once in 2 weeks, I use shampoo to wash it off, and that too very, very, very mild shampoo. I use Ayurveda shampoo, for your kind of information, to wash it off. So what happens here is, okay, so if you are somebody who applies oil on a regular basis, it's all cumulative. Okay, you apply oil, wait for half an hour, wash it off. I don't see any benefit, you getting any benefit from the oil, too long. But if you apply oil on your head, leave for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and rinse it really well with water. You'll notice that about 50 to 60% of the oil is completely gone. And then when you dry it with a towel, another 10%, 15% is gone. About 10 to 20% of oil always remains there. And you would notice that people who apply oil on their head and don't shampoo and remove it and don't dry their scalp, the oil slowly starts seeping in, in turn from inside or from outside. And face might be always oily. My face is almost always oily. I don't mind too much, The person looking at me might have a problem, but I don't have a problem. That actually helps you age slower. So it's cumulative, So it's good for the skin, it's good for the eyes, good for the ears, for everything. It is very good. That's why we ask people to apply oil on the head, apply oil in the ears, apply oil in the nose, do what they call oil swishing and all those things. You have to lubricate every part of the body. So if you keep on washing it off, the purpose of applying oil is not does not happen really well. Yeah, Ambika, good evening. Yeah, Janani, how can someone not used to this slowly try out without getting cold or dandruff in the long run? I'm interested in trying it with Ayurveda oil. So good. I want you to apply it on the scalp. Okay, apply it really well. Okay, on the scalp, and what you can do is you can use a comb and then spread it onto your hair. You don't have to apply it on your hair and waste that much of oil. Okay, and then when you take a shower along with the water, if you don't use shampoo along with the water, the oil also the oil completely covers your hair. Okay, and as I said, don't use too much of hot water on your head. Little bit, slightly warm water is fine, but not hot water. Then you wash it, rinse it really well, and use a towel. Lot of oil goes. Little bit of oil stays on your scalp, which will actually be beneficial. Okay, you can slowly start doing it, Janani. Don't worry at all. If you're not used to it and you catch a cold, then you have to think about it. But otherwise, it really works. Namaste, doctor. I'm 53 years old. Can I take ghee daily? Ambika, I would say it all depends upon you. If you are somebody who has got indigestion, you are not able to digest food fast. That means I would say you are not a candidate to take ghee on empty stomach or daily. Too much of ghee. But otherwise, little bit of ghee on a daily basis will actually help your digestive fire work really well. Okay. Dhidhi smriti agni kamshade shasyate ghritam. People who want intellect, okay, memory, or they want good agni should actually take ghee on a regular basis. But you should also note that ghee can increase kapha. Slowly over a period of time, there's a chance of you putting on weight. Okay, so you should take ghee and you should do enough exercise to burn it out also, so that it can be extremely beneficial. I would say ghee is something that can be consumed regularly, but you have to maintain a good lifestyle. You have to be healthy also. Okay. Does ghee from cow milk differ from one made with buffalo's milk? Which is better for what conditions? See, Phoenix, as we said, the oil or the ghee, the qualities of that depends from the source which it is taken. So cow is basically considered to be a sattvic animal. So the ghee or the milk which comes from a cow is generally sattvic. Okay, but when you take it from a buffalo, it is not sattvic. Buffalo's milk, cow's milk, even though it is slightly heavy, it's not very heavy. Buffalo's milk is extremely heavy for sleeplessness or if you're not able to sleep well, buffalo's milk is basically prescribed, not cow's milk. Cow's milk alone, if you're somebody who sleeps decently well, cow's milk will help you maintain that sleep. But if you have got anidra, you're not able to sleep, buffalo's milk is indicated. So the ghee which is taken out of buffalo's milk also is heavier compared to cow's ghee. Okay, cow ghee is more sattvic. This is slightly more tamasic. Does egg contain any animal fat? Yes, Janani, egg is definitely an animal product. So the fat which is there in that is animal fat. Absolutely. Note the yellow contains more fat than the white. White contains more of protein. Yellow also contains a lot of protein, but it also contains a lot of fat, and that fat is definitely animal fat. Is ghee help us? Yes, yes. Okay, it is something which will increase kapha, and your we say that our intellect is and our memory is all because of the kapha. Okay, so it will definitely improve. It will make you sharper. But I would say it's always good for you to start. Yeah, you can. You said you're 53. You can definitely take, but I would say the habit of taking ghee should be cultivated in children. I should say from childhood. Okay, it is very good for intellect, very good for memory, and very good for strength, and also good for the agni. Skin dryness, eczema, and rare condition, lack of oil or fat in the body, and lack of fat. Sometimes I would say, but not all conditions. Sometimes it could be skin issues itself, but otherwise, if there is lack of lubrication, that means the skin has become dry. That means your vata has really gone up. Then what will happen? Your skin has always got a chance of becoming dry. So you can apply something externally, but I would always say that the lubrication has to come from within. Okay, so taking ghee, mixing ghee in your food, or probably having a little bit of oil like coconut oil or sesame oil on a regular basis to lubricate your system from inside would definitely be the right choice. Just have to explain about mental health. Yes, definitely yes. Okay, we have got big chapters, Unmada, Apasmara, and all those mental issues and what do you call fits, treatments, and all those things have been mentioned for all these conditions. Yes, there is. If you look at after you go through your BMS, that means your graduation, there is a super special. There is an MD course for Manasika Roga, specifically for mental disorders. There are mental doctor experts who manage mental issues through Ayurveda. Okay. Heard someone say the traditional way of removing earwax buildup is through applying oil and rubbing. Is it true? See, if you Shira Shravana Padeshu tam Visheshena Shilayet. Shira Shravana Pada, feet. Okay, head, ears, and feet are the where you have to apply oil every day. Okay, Abhyanga Majarit Nityam every day, and especially head. So when you apply oil on the sense you're not pouring, few drop, one drop, you keep on applying it. So what happens is the wax is always soft and it automatically comes out. You don't have to go and pull it out. Okay, it doesn't harden if you apply oil on a regular basis. So what you said is true. If you apply oil on a regular basis, it will soften and it will always come out automatically. Okay. Yeah, Priya, good evening. I understand that salt and milk are not recommended. Yes, yes, Cynthia, salt and milk are not supposed to be combined together because if you look at milk is something which is very cooling, and salt is something which has got. If you look at the pancha bhautik, okay, pancha mahabhutas, it has got water and excessive agni in it, excessive. So it is something which is heat generating. That is why in summers, salt, sour, and spicy tastes have to be avoided. If you look at all the six tastes, these three tastes have got Agni in them. Okay, only these three tastes have got Agni Mahabhut in them. That's why you have to avoid these things when Agni is specifically high. I want to know if is Sattvic food oil free? Not exactly. Sattvic food, see, um, pepper is not rajasic for your kind of pepper is not extremely rajasic. Okay, so anything that can generate a lot of heat and tilt your state of mind is rajasic. Okay, so ghee is extremely sattvic. Okay, mustard oil might be rajasic, but ghee is sattvic. Coconut oil is almost sattvic. It is not something which will make your mind go wild. Okay, sattvic need not be oil free. No, milk is an oily thing, because you have got ghee in it. So milk is sattvic. You understand that? So it need not be without oil, but deep fry need not be really sattvic. Doctor, during Abhyangan, do you apply oil just externally or even inside the passage? You don't have to pour inside. You take one drop and then you put it inside, and that's just you just do like this. One see what happens is the properties, the gunas of the oil is which has to get transferred inside. The oil need not really go inside. Okay, we keep on applying oil just like that. The properties, the snigdha guna of the oil will slowly start getting into, and it will bring down the vata. Okay. Am I confusing guna and rasa? Yeah, mostly, when you look at when you viruddha ahara, most of the viruddha ahara is directly related to the gunas of it. What even taste is you can probably bring a little bit of guna out of it. So it's all about the properties of it. Where how when the it becomes unwholesome, viruddha. Okay, so salt and sweet taste don't generally mix too much, is what my take on it is. Okay, my son never oils his hair; he just takes head bath as it is. Will improve eyesight by oil. See, what happens here is when you apply oil on the head on a regular basis, you are controlling that vata which goes up beyond a certain limit. Hope you're able to understand that. So that's why we say applying oil on the head, ear, and feet has to be done on a regular basis so that the vata is always kept under control. Okay, and eyesight. Okay, eyesight is basically pitta. Okay, and when the heat goes up too much, you feel that you have got blurred vision. So that when your the application of oil will actually cool your eyes and your vision. When you go for treatments for eyes, what people normally, most of the medicines what has been given, the base is ghee. Even though yes, decoctions are given, but when you do akshitarpana or when the anjanam and all those things, most of the medicines have got ghee as their base. So ghee is supposed to be really good for intake for the eyes. Okay, and that too at bedtime will help you improve the eyes. But application of oil on the head also is good for maintaining good eyesight. Uh, I understand. I think I've answered that, Cynthia. Yes, no salt and milk and nothing sour with milk. It's basically because of the gunas. Okay. You are recommended to apply oil on a daily basis because I have very thick hair and scalp is natural. Too much oil leads to dandruff for me. Yeah, I don't see. Sometimes we notice that if you shampoo your hair, okay, you see the nourishment. Okay, let me put it this way: scalp automatically releases oil. Okay, so if you keep on removing that oil every time, the scalp will keep on producing oil, and oil is the only way where the body can give nourishment. It doesn't give nourishment through water. Oil base is the only way it can give nourishment. Okay, so people who always keep on shampooing and getting the scalp dry, the body automatically reacts by probably by releasing more and more sebum or oil. That might not be good. Okay, so if you are somebody who has got an oily skin, naturally oily, you don't have to apply too much of oil. Okay, apply a little bit of oil, rub it gently into your scalp, and I'm telling you to wash it really well. You don't have to shampoo, you wash it really well, and then you use a towel. I would say up to 70 to 80% of the oil goes in. And if your scalp is slightly oily, your body need not release that much of sebum to lubricate your scalp. Hope you're able to understand that. Okay, applying oil in my opinion, applying oil will not increase your dandruff too much. You see a lot of people. My experience says that applying a little bit of oil will not increase your dandruff as long as you keep it clean. Does the method of preparing ghee matter according to Ayurveda? How does Ayurveda recommend about making ghee from butter prepared by traditional? Yeah, see, milk, you add a little bit of curd, curdling it, and then it becomes thick curd. And when the curd slightly starts becomes sour, you churn it, and then what comes is butter. Okay, and when you heat that butter, okay, you clarify, you call it, you heat that butter, it melts, and you see granules in the bottom, and it starts becoming slightly brown. Okay, slightly brown, not extremely brown. Then it start burning. So slightly brown, that is when you get the ghee out of it. Okay, so Ayurveda basically promotes this traditional way of making ghee. You have also ghee which can be taken made directly from the cream on top of the milk also. That is also okay. But this ghee, which I said, from the curd, butter, heating it and making ghee, is supposed to be the better way of making it. How does Ayurveda treat cavities and teeth? Can you avoid root canal treatment and treat them completely? Generally, no. So once your teeth starts decaying, then it is not very easy. It's always good to see. Ayurveda does mention about teeth, what they call treatments on the teeth and all those things. But nowadays, if you look at the way the dentistry has gone, it has advanced. I would say it's always good for you to get your teeth checked once in a while, cleanse once in a while. And if your root has really got a problem, then root canal treatment is the only way you can do things. Ayurveda is not something. You should always understand that Ayurveda did have surgery. Ayurveda also says about surgery. When you have got a growth or something, Ayurveda says cut and remove it. So a lot of people think that Ayurveda doesn't have surgery. So if I've got a growth, I can go to Ayurveda, take some medicines and remove it. Ayurveda says, immediately says, you can, Ashtanga will say, go to Dhanvantari Mata. Charaka also says, go to Dhanvantari school. That means cut and remove it. So wherever you need intervention, even surgery, you have to do it, right, Janani? Okay. Is ghee made from curd or cream? Ghee is normally, you churn the curd. Once the curd slightly becomes sour, you churn the curd. You will see that butter starts floating on top, and what remains is buttermilk. Okay, so you will see butter floating on top. That butter is taken, heated, melted, and converted into ghee, Ambika. See, explaining about sattvic food. See, sattvic food is something, sattva, rajas, tamas. These are the three qualities of the mind. Okay. And many people think that rajas is a dosha and tamas is a dosha. They can become doshas. Okay. Because if you are assertive, that's a good quality. That is rajas there. Okay. But if you become aggressive, then that becomes a dosha, rajo dosha. Like if you're patient, that is a virtue. That's a guna. That is tamo guna. But if you become lazy, then it becomes a dosha. So anything which can, by and large, some people are sattvic, some people are rajasic, and some people are tamasic by nature, in the good sense, need not be in the bad sense. So if you can keep that in balance, I don't want you to suddenly become sattvic. See, the definition of sattvic is entirely different. Okay, so it is a state of mind. Anything which can disturb that state of mind can be considered to be non-sattvic. So sometimes something which is sattvic for you right now need not be sattvic for you sometime later. So if you are in that state of mind, this is slightly philosophical, okay? If you are in that state of mind, even a little bit of pickles might not disturb you. So how can you say that pickle at that point of time was it was a non-sattvic? Sattvic is your state of mind. Just because you take that, you take milk and you take ghee, but your thought and your work is different, that cannot make you sattvic. Anything that which does not disturb you from your sattvic state is sattvic food for you. That need not be sattvic food for somebody else. I don't know whether I'm making it clear for you. Okay, for sometimes somebody who drinks, he might be in extremely sattvic state. If he drinks 1 or 2 pegs of alcohol also, he's still in that state. So was that sattvic food he drank? You'll say, no, alcohol is not sattvic, but that did not disturb his state of sattvic. So how can you say that is not sattvic for him? So this is a very, very, very different topic which I'm touching. You see, a lot of people say this is sattvic, this is rajasic, this is tamasic. Don't do that. Don't do this. Everything is extremely subjective. So when you look at, you see a lot of sattvic movements happening nowadays. I don't want to go in details about what people do, but for you to understand, sattvic is also subjective. Doctor, we get milk in cans and make curd from that. Churning that curd gives only froth, which has minimal fat. If I remove the same 2 to 3 times and consume water, is that the right way? See, Pragati, we sometimes, yes, get milk from outside, but I would say if you wait for that curd to become slightly sour, because Dadhi Ushnam Guru Amlam is what Ashtanga says. If it doesn't become sour, you churn, you will not get butter out of it. Okay. Yes, a lot of cream has already been. I would want you to get a full fat milk, not this skimmed milk. Okay, get a full fat milk. That's what you get from when you get from the cow directly, right? What happens if you go for a low fat milk? The fat is already removed. Go for a full fat milk, cuddle it, wait for the curd to become sour. You churn it. It's a high probability that you will get butter out of it. Okay, try it out. What does Ayurveda say about curdled milk and products like paneer? See, this is a good question. Actually speaking, curdled milk is we have started cuddling it right now. Otherwise, what happens is when milk gets, you are actually spoiling the milk. Okay, milk and amla rasa. You add a little bit of lemon juice into it, and milk curdles. Ayurveda says when you look at the Viruddha chapter, mixing milk and anything that is sour is extremely Viruddha. It is not supposed to be consumed. So what happens is you are adding lime into milk, which is not supposed to be done, and the product is paneer. Okay, so if you look at the history of, probably I'm just guessing, somewhere milk would have gotten spoiled and they don't know what to do with it. Then they thought, how do I make use of this? Okay, then somebody got an idea, let us throw the water out and probably add sugar, and it became tasty probably. But that doesn't, in my opinion, paneer is not something which is very healthy for you to consume on a regular basis. Okay. In Ayurveda, Tripura prepared according to an individual dosha is 1:1:1. Natural Tripura is always used. Is there any classical reference how to consume it? Tripura, if it has not been mentioned, yes, it is 1:1:1. But otherwise, you can actually change it also. I've put out a video also. If you check my Instagram, I think I've come out with a video where I've told I've mentioned about Tripura. Okay, so if somebody is slightly constipated, then the Haritiki will be slightly on the higher side. If you want it more to be energy giving or rasayana, then probably Amla might be slightly on the other side. If you have got breathing issues, then Vibhitiki might be slightly on the other side. So you can actually change the ratio according to the person. Even if you change the ratio, it's still Triphala. As long as it contains only these 3 things, it is still Triphala. Okay. Oh, sure, Priya. Please do it. Ghee at home is made from fermenting the collected malai with little curd and then extracting ghee. Is that recommended? Yeah, I see. It's okay. If you are doing that, it is fine. But just try doing this by getting whole milk and then, and then curdling it, waiting for it to become sour and then churning it. Okay, you might find some good results and you can share it next week or later. What are the reasons hydrocolon therapy for people who contribute with problems with absorption? Yeah, Krishna. Okay, hydrocolon is basically, pushing in water into colon and cleaning it. So I am not a huge fan of this, because what happens when you clean, you feel that, oh, my colon is becoming clean, and clean need not always be healthy. Note that. Okay, you have got a lot of things happening in the colon. Okay, a lot of bacteria and things, I don't know what not you have got inside your thing over there. And if you keep on cleaning it always, you might probably start getting denourished. Okay, so in my opinion, hydrocolon or doing enema with water on a regular basis is not a good thing. Okay, if you have got constipation, meet a doctor. If it is basically more of dry constipation, then probably some oil, might be ghee or some even castor oil combinations would actually help you to relieve your constipation. If otherwise you feel that you're not passing motions really well, then certain powders like Triphala or even Kayam Churnam and all those things can help you out. Okay, so but I don't want you to keep on washing your colon on a regular basis. It is not good for health. Do you recommend any recommendation for Ayurvedic doctor specialized in dental care or a hospital? I have not come across any Ayurvedic doctor who is a specialist in dental issues. I'm sorry, Janani, or a hospital. Normally, we if at all we have got any issues with the teeth, we go to a dentist directly. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, but the textbooks, if you look at Sushruta Samhita, a lot of things have been told, how to close the cavities, how to grind, and all those things have been told. But sometimes you feel with the sophistications which have come up nowadays, I think dentist does that. Most of the dentists, if you know the dentist, dentist will do a great job. Just for Janani, if I just answered your question, I don't think I don't know. There might be, but I don't know. I'm not aware of. Can you please take one session, Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic, doctor? So it's a very philosophically oriented and a difficult topic to talk on, because there might be a lot of people, clashes and all those things. I will try to do something. I'll try to put up something, Priya. Okay. Or refined oil, but anything that is refined, when you refine it, it is not filtered oil. Okay, you are using chemicals to refine it, or some other procedures which might not be actually good. So any oil, if you use the cold pressed virgin oils, that, in my opinion, that should be the best ones. What are the good oils used for cooking sesame, ground vegetables, sunflower, rice bran, or should we just use all the mix up it up for different dishes? Finish. I would say, whatever oil you are genetically used to would be the best oil for you for a regular use. Sometimes you're making something Italian. For the taste, you're adding a little bit of, might be olive oil or something, or some other oil. That's fine. But I don't say that you have to completely shift to olive oil because somebody says it is healthy. No. For me, I'm used to having coconut oil. So by and large, all my dishes are cooked in coconut oil. So sometimes when I go to Tamil Nadu, when they give me that podi, they add sesame oil in it. That makes it tasty. I do have it. But by and large, my cooking happens in coconut oil. So try to understand genetically what oil you are used, your parents, your great grandparents used. I think that should be the first choice or the general usage. Once in a while, here and there, according to change of dish, you can change it. But otherwise, stick to one oil which you're genetically used to. Pragati. Talking about full fat milk from the can to make buttermilk. Still only froth comes even after. See, buttermilk is normally when you don't have fat in it, then you can call it buttermilk. Okay, however it is. But if the buttermilk is sweet, buttermilk cannot be sweet because buttermilk has to get, it's a fermented thing. Buttermilk is basically, takra is slightly fermented. It is light and it is slightly amla. It is amla in the sense it is sour and it also has got an astringent taste. Okay, if it doesn't have all these things, you can consume it buttermilk, but the takra properties which has been mentioned in Ayurveda, you can't expect if it is fresh, Like people want to have fresh thick curd which is sweet. Okay, I rather say something like amadadhi. That means it has left the state of milk and it not reached the state of curd, which is not very good. It will block all the channels. So if that curd is not sour, you cannot churn and get the thing like. So if the buttermilk you say is not sour or slightly tangy, then it does not serve the purpose too much. We are using wood pressed oil in that case. Yeah, wood pressed oil is uh, see, you I can't say this oil is good or that oil is good. Whichever oil you're used to genetically, traditionally, that oil is the best oil for you. Okay, for me, coconut oil. People in Tamil Nadu, sesame oil. Okay, so probably if you go to Punjab, it can be sarson ka tel, mustard oil. So different groundnut oil, different areas use different oil. Use that oil. It's nothing like good oil, bad oil. No. Okay, all other things which came later, probably sunflower oil or sunflower oil. I don't even consider it to be oil. First of all, when you call sneha, it should have that sliminess. It doesn't have sliminess. It doesn't have smell. But yeah, you can fry something in it. So double refined, triple refined oils and all. It's a choice. I would say whichever oil you're genetically used to, stick to that. See, salt water to flush. Ayurveda doesn't say salt water drink. Salt will definitely help you throw up, and it will also definitely help you pass loose motions. That is definitely true. For cleansing, yes, you can probably, but I would not recommend salt water. If salt water can give you that effect, and if you feel that you want to clean it, you can go ahead. But I would say, avipatti churnam would be the best choice. Okay, avipatti. Vipatti means danger. Avipatti means that is which is not dangerous at all. That means it can be managed. You can have avipatti churnam. You can cleanse your stomach, and then once that is cleansed, I would still not recommend ghee khichdi that day, because khichdi is not something which is very easy to digest. I would still recommend you cook rice and take the water out of it. Cooked rice, what that's called kanji. Kanji would be the first choice. Probably after you have passed all the motions for lunch or something, you can have that rice kanji. And probably by the end of the day, if you still have appetite, then I would still recommend that kanji water with a little bit of rice and have it. Khichdi you can go next day, because khichdi also requires a little bit of agni for you to digest. Okay. What are the effects of different ways of application of Thailam, Abhyangam, Pichu? See, this is a huge topic, Janani, Abhyangam is oil application. Okay. Kiri, Pichu and all. Pichu is also a one way of application, okay, of oil. Kiri is not application of oil. Kiri is basically applying heat. Okay, so there are so many ways in which you can apply heat. If you look at kiri, you can use sand, you can use powders, you can use leaves, you can use what you call brick. You can also use rice paste. A lot of ways in which you can apply heat. Abhyangam is application of oil on the body. Okay, and pichu is taking a piece of cloth, dipping oil into it, and then putting it in a place, any place wherever you put it, it's called pichu. So the effects are entirely different for each and everything, and that is a whole, I'm telling you, it's a whole, might be a 2-month everyday session if you want to go in depth with each and everything. Okay. Namaste. Why is it generally not encouraged to stand and drink water and advised to sit while drinking? When you eat food, generally we consider to eat food, sit in a comfortable position and eat food. And drinking water is also considered a part of eating food when in the process of eating. Okay, but otherwise, I have not seen that in Ayurveda they say that when you have to whenever you're thirsty, when you have to drink water, sit and drink. I have not seen that very specifically. Okay, but I would say don't move, don't have water in a moving car or walking and eating. If you're steady, because you see, if you don't want the water to shake, so it's not good when you're traveling in a car, jumping and you're eating. All those things are not good. But either does not. I have not seen. I don't know where there might be certain places where it's been mentioned, but I have not come across a thing where they say every time you drink water you have to sit and drink. I have not seen. But when you're drinking water along with food, because you have to sit and eat, it's always good for you to drink water. At that time, at least, sit and drink. But otherwise, I don't tell any patients to sit and you stand, but don't move around when you're drinking water. Stay stationary, drink water. I think that's equally good. Are you conducting any Ayurveda course which we can learn with you, Doctor? Krishna, that's a good question. Yes, plan is there, but it has to materialize, because time is always a problem. I start my consultations from morning 8:30, and it goes all the way, except on Tuesdays, it goes all the way up to 8:30 in the evening. See, a lot of people ask me also why your videos don't come out so frequently. I say, I have to find, sometimes I don't find the time to shoot videos, because patients and this and that, and a lot of things do happen. But this is there, Krishna. Okay, probably sometime in Jan or Feb, I'll come up with a course, might be a 1 week course, where I can talk about the basics of Ayurveda, so that people can understand how Ayurveda works and under what principles Ayurveda works. So might be a 5-day or might be 6-day session. It's a good idea, Krishna. Yes, we can do that. I eat a good breakfast and lunch, but don't have appetite in the evening. Is this okay? If you feel hungry for breakfast and lunch and you don't feel hungry in the evening, but I would say, if you eat something in the evening and then go to bed, your sleep is much better because of the kapha inside. Okay, because sleep is also kapha. If you go to bed and sometimes you might not feel hungry, but middle of the night, if your stomach becomes empty, the quality you might not know, probably you might be still sleep through, but the quality of the sleep when the vata has already gone up because your stomach is empty might be slightly different. Probably you might, I would recommend that you can cut down on the amount of breakfast you eat, on a little bit on the amount of lunch you eat, and probably have a little bit something before you go to bed at night, or in the evening, not immediately before bed. Have something in the evening, so that will help you sleep better. Sesame oil is good for both internal and external application. So people in Tamil Nadu use sesame oil for everything, right? So it's good for internal and external application. The first choice of oil is sesame oil. Okay, if you don't have anything, any oil, sesame oil is the first choice of oil. Okay, it's good both internally and externally, generally, no problem. What is the difference between Vata Pitta and Vata Kapha? Can an ordinary person like me identify the difference? If I have to describe myself, I'm lean, have dry skin, and mostly weak digestion. Prasad, I'm sorry to tell you that it will be always good that if you can go and consult an Ayurvedic doctor. The information which you have given, I'm lean, have dry skin, and mostly weak digestion, is very little information. Okay, it can be anything. One thing I understand, that you've got vata here, but pitta or kapha, something probably it might be debatable. I think it's always good for you to go and sit with an Ayurvedic doctor who might be able to help you. Online things, you'll find sometimes your vata kapha, sometimes your vata pitta, they are not very foolproof. Spend some time with a good Ayurvedic doctor, you'll be able to get it, Prasad. Okay. Yeah, Janani, welcome. I want to know, was Ashtanga Hridaya a part of your medical education, or it's something that every Vaidya has to go through on a personal level? If you look from the Kerala tradition, I'm telling you, Right now, you have got Central Council of Indian Medicine, which has come up with a syllabus and all those things, where Ashtanga Hridaya is not a major part sometimes, for Chikitsa, they give some other book, for some other book. But traditionally, if you look for years, generations together, Ashtanga Hridaya, Vaidyas in Kerala go through Ashtanga Hridaya. So I was fortunate enough to go through Ashtanga Hridaya. Okay, and till I finished my course till this syllabus became extremely strict. Now it's become very strict that Ashtanga Hridaya has become very little, and I would say Ashtanga Hridaya is more structured. Okay, people might shout at me and they might curse me, but Ashtanga Hridaya, in my opinion, is more structured than most other textbooks. So going to Ashtanga Hridaya as a beginner, in my opinion, would be the best thing for you to, for any Ayurvedic student to go through. Go through Ashtanga Hridaya, and then Charaka and all are slightly superior at a different level altogether. So if you know what Ashtanga Hridaya is all, you get the basics right. And then you can go for Charaka, Sushruta and other books. That's my way of looking at. That's what all of us believe here in Kerala. Okay, so Ashtanga Hridaya, most people in Kerala follow Ashtanga Hridaya. Your take on Greek yogurt in light of Ahmadadi. It is current craze for protein. I know. Yeah. As you said, yes. Nanityam. Okay. Nanishi. Never daily, never at night. Lot of restrictions for curd. Okay. So, but Greek yogurt, you look at Greek. I want you to do your homework and look at the person who started Greek yogurt. He's been there for a lot of so many years, and suddenly one final day, some research, some paper came up into the Greek yogurt is so good, and then overnight he became a millionaire. So Greek yogurt, in my opinion, is very, very thick. You squeeze all the water. It's extremely thick. It's not easy to digest. Okay, yogurt itself is not easy to digest. That's why we say buttermilk can be consumed on a regular basis. Yogurt, keep a watch. Okay. We're slowly coming to an end of today's session. Mustard oil and feet, yes. I'm from Kerala, but keep traveling to work many times in cold areas. Okay. So, yes, I would say applying a little bit of mustard oil, and then wearing a socks would be the next thing for you, Prasad. Apply that oil, mustard oil, and then wear a socks. It will really help you. Mustard oil is actually good when it is cold. Okay. What is it's an ideal breakfast for Pitta Vata person. Anything which can contain ghee and milk. Okay, both, because milk and ghee both pacify Vata and Pitta. So that then that is your choice now, whether you want to have poha with milk and ghee or whatever it is. Rice is actually a very, very, very good option. Not fermented, freshly made rice. You can have rice also in the morning. You can have puttu in the morning. You can have idiyappam in the morning. Okay, you can have pongal in the morning. All these things are good for a Vata, Pitta, Prakriti person. Can a non-medical person learn Nadi Pariksha through training course? And Krishna, it's a good question, but what are you going to do with it? That's one question, because if you have to learn Nadi Pariksha is not something which can just see. If you have to become a good doctor, you have to see so many patients. That's why, 2 weeks back I had, I don't know whether you remember that. Daksha Tirthasa Shastrate Drishta Karma Shuchis Bishak. Bishak means a Vaidya, and what all qualities he has to have. Okay. Daksha, that means, okay, he Samartha. Tirthasa Shastrate, that means he has learned it from the right source. Drishta Karma, who has got practical experience. He's seen patients after patients after patients after patients. Then only he start becoming good. For a non-medical person, if you have to Nadi Pariksha, you can learn. It's a very simple thing for you to learn, the theoretical part of it. But if you have to get to know what is happening, how many patients you have to see, how many mistakes you have to make. So it is not something which is so easy, Krishna. But I'm not discouraging you. But how are you going to put it into use is something which you have to think. Okay. Pragati, I want to learn Ayurveda in the light of modern medicine, where we can understand this wisdom in light of new age language of biomarkers, bioavailability, food combinations, food chemistry, etc. All the best, Pragati, but I somewhere feel I'm not the right person for this. There are a lot of people who do a comparative study and try to correlate a lot of things. I don't do that because in a way that it's not that I don't understand. I do understand a little bit of modern science and physiology and anatomy, yes. But I personally feel that if I even some let me put it this way: when somebody comes to me with medical reports, okay, I don't look into the medical reports initially, because if I look into medical reports and see the diagnosis, I get confused. So what I do is I go through my own way of the Vata Pitta Kapha thing and try to understand where the imbalance is, and then I come to a conclusion. Oh, this could be what it is, and then only I open up the medical reports and see to see if what I made sense is there or not. Okay. Otherwise, if I diagnose and I try to look at everything through the modern aspect and try to give either treatment, I personally feel that it's going to be a failure. It's not going to be a huge success. So I would say let us, even though yes, both of us are health sciences, the way we look at the human body is entirely different. It is not very easy for you to you correlate everything and then look at it. But if you can find somebody who can help you out, good. Okay. I'm not discouraging you again, Pradeep. I think you should go ahead. But I'm not the right kind of person. I'm extremely sorry. That's not the way I look at it. Okay. This learning is more to help children believe in Ayurveda with scientific vocabulary. You know what? Don't think otherwise. What happens is, if you want to learn German, you can't learn German in English. You have to learn German in German. So if you have to learn Ayurveda, you have to learn Ayurveda through Ayurvedic terms. My personal feeling, because I have seen a lot of people who want to modern doctors who want to learn Ayurveda through their terms. They are not able to understand anything, and when we are ready to go one step, but we don't want to go all the way there. Okay, if the person is ready to come a little bit here, because see, when I say lagu, they immediately, okay, light, guru, heavy. It doesn't mean, the word meaning might be that. Okay, but when we look at it in depth, the its application is extremely different. I don't know whether you have to understand that, Pragati, but okay, I'm not talking this to offend you or to discourage you, but that's my opinion. Many wash head with hot water, which is not also good for scalp and hair. Yes, Divya, it's a very good point. A lot of people wash their head and hair with hot water. Okay, so Ushnabuna Adhak Kayasya. Okay, so what happens is Kesha Akshi Krit. Okay, it basically destroys or reduces the strength of your hair and your eyesight. So don't pour hot water on your head. Okay. Since you could Ashtanga Hridaya, just ask that out of curiosity, doctor. I have no intention of going through it. I know it is something which is it's nice to. There are a lot of people which go through that, and it would be interesting for you to know that if you go through the what do you call the syllabus in Tamil Nadu, when they go through MA Sanskrit, they have to study one chapter of Ashtanga Hridaya. Okay, I'll tell you why. It is not because of the science part of it or the medicinal part of it. It is because the way in which he has written all the verses, beautiful. Okay, it is so poetic the way he has actually explained medical science. Okay, just for the what you call the poetic part of it, you can go through it. Okay. Yes, Pragati. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's wind up today. It's almost time. Oh wow, 1 hour. Okay, so I'll see you next week with some other topic. Okay. Good night.